Let us solve problem number two, still under revenue projects. Okay. Problem number two. The COE company is currently earning an average before tax return of 25% on its total investment. The board of directors of COE is considering three proposals as given in the table below. So we have three project proposals here. So this would be the cash flow for each proposal. So of course, yung ating initial investment or principal, negative yan because it's an outflow, and this would be the net revenues for each uh, proposal, okay, for 4 years now. So proposal A is for a new machine that will replace their older, worn out of their older, sorry, worn out pieces of equipment. This machine is vital to COE's production. Next, proposal B is for plant expansion. And proposal C is an addition to COE's product line. There is a high probability that this product could fail in the marketplace. So, yung proposal C, no? There's a high probability that proposal C could fail in the marketplace, resulting in the loss of most of the 2.5 million pesos na initial investment. So the board feel that they would need at least 40% rate of return on this project to compensate for its additional riskiness. Which of these proposals are acceptable? Okay? So, ang gawin natin, we're going to compute the net present values using the attainable MARR of 25% for proposals A and B and target MARR of 40% for proposal C. Okay, so again, for proposals A and B, ang MARR natin ay 25%. Okay, and for proposal C, since riskier siya, okay, itataas natin yung MARR at 40%. Okay, so which of these proposals are acceptable? So, hindi pwedeng dalawa, hindi pwedeng lahat ay dapat ay gagawin ng company. They're just going to choose one proposal. That's why it's called mutually exclusive alternatives. So we're going to choose one project or proposal only. So ang method natin, okay. So we're going to use the net present worth method and then the ROR method, or we're going to compute for the internal rate of return of each proposal. So for proposal A, using the net present worth method. So going back to our table, no, ito yung cash flow natin for proposal A. So meron tayong initial investment na 2 million, and then annual revenue, net revenue to or net profit natin na 900,000 pesos. No salvage value, so we're not going to include that in the equation. So meron lang tayo ito. Okay, so we have for the net present value, hindi ko nang drawing yung cash flow diagram. Anyway, very simple lang naman yung ating computation dito. So we have negative, of course it's an outflow, meron tayong inflow, kaya positive ito, yung annual revenue natin. Okay, so we have 2 million in this. So the net present worth is 125,440 pesos. It's the net present worth. Okay, that's using the net present worth method, and then we're going to use also the internal rate of return method. That means we're going to compare now the internal rate of return and then the MARR set by the company. So if the internal rate of return is greater than MARR, then the project is acceptable. But of course, we're going to look at other proposals, whichever give us the highest internal rate of return, then you will choose that particular project or proposal. So for internal rate of return, we're going to leave itong I natin, solve natin yung I prime, which stands for the internal rate of return. So equate lang natin yung present worth and then the annual revenues natin. So equate lang natin yan. So ito yung present worth ng, actually this is the present worth. Ito yung principal natin. I'm sorry, I think nagkamali ako ng ng notation dito. This should be the principal, and this is the present worth of the annual revenues natin for 4 years. Okay? So equate natin yung principal or the initial investment and then the present worth of the annual revenues. So for proposal A, ito yung principal natin and then the present worth of annual revenues natin. So using this equation, we can, by trial and error, or you can also use the equation solver in your calculators to solve for I prime. So we have an I prime of 28.49%, which is greater than 25%, no, set by the company. Okay, but let's look at the other proposals. Okay, so pasok si proposal A, but we're going to check the other proposals if mas mataas yung NPW or the internal rate of return. Okay, so let's go to proposal B. So again, going back to our table, ang table natin, ayan. So proposal B, initial investment natin or principal is 3 million. And this would be the annual revenues natin, net annual revenue. So yung cost na wala na dyan. So ito na yung annual revenue minus annual operations and maintenance costs. So nasama, subtract na yan. Okay? Pero kung given yung ang annual revenues natin tapos yung annual operations and maintenance cost or other annual cost, okay, i-subtract muna natin. Okay, but since given na to, yan na yung ating gagamitin. Okay, so that's for proposal B. Ito na yung principal natin and this is the annual revenue. So net present worth for proposal B is negative siya. So negative 48,000 pesos. Pag negative, that means it's not desirable. No? Lugi tayo. No? Okay, using IRR method, okay, same procedure sa proposal A kanina. Equate lang natin yung principal and then the present worth of the annual revenues natin. Compute for I prime, the internal rate of return, and compare it with the company's MARR. So in this case, we have an internal rate of return that is 24.1%, less than the MARR of the company. So obviously proposal B is not desirable, no. So lugi tayo diyan. Or relative of course na to the MARR set by the company. Okay. Now let's look at proposal C naman. So remember proposal C, ang MARR natin for proposal C is 40%. Ito yung 40% ng MARR natin. So again, we go back to our table. For proposal C, we have an initial investment of 2.5 million, annual net revenues of 1.35 million for proposal C. So we have now ito, principal, present worth ng annual revenues. So we have a net present worth for proposal C, negative din, so negative 3,540. So obviously hindi siya desirable na investment or proposal. Using the IRR method or ROR method, equate ulit natin yung principal, yung principal natin, okay, yung principal na 2.5 million and then the present worth of the annual revenues. Okay, so we're going to solve for I prime, and we have an internal rate of return equivalent to 39, or almost 40, almost 40%. A bit lower than what the company have set. No, still less than 40% na MARR for proposal C. That's 39.9 percent. Okay, so obviously there's only one proposal that is viable, and that is proposal A. So since proposal A has the highest net present worth and is greater than zero, it is the only acceptable proposal among the three. The same conclusion can be made. Can also be made using the ROR IRR method. Only proposal A exceeds the set MARR.